hard on it. In an attempt to avoid that situation, my solution is to try and have the conversation end at the perfect time so it's a flawless conclusion with no bumbling around. Like, if it was a human conversation simulator, I'd totally get an A++ paper with stars and hearts and the person's little avatar would go, that's what I would do if I was normal, but since I'm exceedingly bad at anything related to social competence, what typically happens is I start leaving in the middle of them still talking. I mean, I don't mean to do it. I realize the conversation is ending, and I try to over-prepare by beginning to step away so they can finish their statement, and it's an easy transition to conclusion. Time to start retracting from the conversation is, and I misjudge how much left they have to say. So it ends up going something like, it was the biggest, fattest squirrel I've ever seen. It was crazy. That's insane. Well, and then my little sister came into the room and saw it and started freaking out, and she thought it was a mutated monster squirrel, and oh, that's funny. Yeah, I wish I could have seen it. Yeah, it was crazy. Really good or really bad at social interaction. It's either, oh my god, this is me, / relatable, / or it's simple. Just don't be stupid. I'm excited to be in the adult stage in life where all of a sudden socializing is easy. When does that part happen when becoming an adult? Whenever that wants to happen, that'd be great. In the meantime, I'll have to endure not knowing how to end conversations. One time I was trying to end a phone call with someone and I didn't know how to bring up, hey, I have to go now, because we kept talking, and I ended up being on the phone with them for an entire extra hour. That was not fun.
If your child needs help, don't delay. Children's Wisconsin is here, always.
Anyway, so I don't know if you could tell, but this video I actually tried something different. Ever since I started making videos, I've always just done everything myself, and I've been adamant to stick with that. I want a certain feeling from my videos. Sometimes I feel like everyone's always trying to get to the top business or fame or... I promised you a 30 animation in the last video, so here you go. I don't like it. I'm assuming you all guess based on my personality that I'm not one to partake in swooning someone over with charming words of flattery. I don't think I've ever flirted in my entire life. Okay, well, I did this one time by accident, but I'll get to that later. I'm more of a make someone feel good and just overall let them know I care about them kind of person. I have no courage to do anything else. All I can imagine is me just trying to approach someone being like, hey there, I have a girlfriend. Oh my god, same, we have so much in common. And even if I have that happy initial flirty introduction, my low small talk skills won't get me very far with anything anyway. Okay, so the first time I ever tried to be a confident, flirty person or whatever was with this one friend I had. I liked him at the time and we hung out a lot. One time we were just sitting on their bed, just chilling and talking, just buds being buds, and my mind just starts going, okay, you've never done anything close to flirty in your entire life. Who are you? Get yourself together, let's do something, let's go, geez, come on. I basically bullied myself into dancing, which I didn't even know was possible, but to me, I guess, I pressured myself loud and clear. So we were just talking, and I just wrapped my arm around them, like with no warning. They were like mid-sentence, and I was like, eh. And I immediately regretted it. Like, okay, no, this is not what I want anymore. Why did I convince myself to do this? I mean, god dang it. Cutting the story short, we just remained friends, and honestly, I'm glad we did. I realized I prefer this person much more as a friend, and I'm glad we didn't start a relationship. If anything, we just became closer as pals. They're literally one of my best friends now. They also watch my videos, so... Hey, you're probably expecting me to say this is awkward. But you're wrong, we're best friends. Sorry, you can't laugh at my self-deprecation this time. Just a side tangent. I don't understand why people just stop talking to someone just because they don't share their feelings with them. to associate with them anymore. That makes absolutely no sense. Minus the relationship, it seems like you could have a freaking fun friendship since you theoretically should be able to get along perfectly. I mean, if you consider them as an adequate possible partner. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. Unless you're a douchebag and you only like that person for their looks and nothing else. Another part of flirting is the texting, the messaging, the sliding in the DMs, and I don't really do that either, but I have something to say about it. So I guess I understand why you would want to wait a few minutes to text someone back because you don't want to seem clingy or something. But why do people wait like more than 10 minutes? That's such a waste of time, and it kind of comes off that you don't really care that you're talking to them, which is the opposite of what you're feeling. Why can't we show when we appreciate someone anymore? Also, I know people who want to text someone they like as little as possible because, I don't know, again, it makes it seem like they don't want to be texting them or something. They'll almost make it a competition to try and leave the conversation first. Like, congrats, you went on finding out to make them be the last to text in your conversation. You know, your prize is not getting to talk to the person you want to talk to. Putting it that way doesn't make it seem all that appealing, does it? So now I'm sure you're wanting me to tell you stories that make me kind of die a bit inside, but provide you with entertainment. And you're right, let's start with awkward first date, shall we? During my senior year of high school after our homecoming dance, my group of friends and I wanted to go bowling because it's fun. I didn't have a date, obviously. At the bowling place next to our lane were a group of people around the same age as us, and out of the blue, one of my friends just goes, "Hey, will you guys take a picture with us so it looks like we have a date?" Rachel! So we took pictures with these random people, and the one that was my date was like, "Tess, you should send that to me." And me being freaking innocent and clueless just goes, "Okay. Wait, I don't have your number." Wait, I said, how did I do that? So blah, 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 I have this person's number now. And I was like, oh yeah, I totally meant to be all smooth like that to my friends. But in reality, I have no idea what I'm doing. They end up asking me to movies, and I was like, okay. But my parents didn't want me to go alone, so they made me invite Kate and her boyfriend at the time to go to the movies. So we all go to the movies, and since I literally don't know anything about this person, we didn't know what to talk about the whole time. It was all just long conversations like, so how's your day? Good, how about you? Or, what's your favorite color? Really, I can't, it was, like, I'm serious. I will never accept any movie invitations unless it's like for family, ever. All that comes to my mind when I think of movie theaters are just flashbacks. So, like, I don't want to relive that. I already lived through it once. That's quite enough. No more, please. The last story wasn't too bad, just awkward tension. Come on, let's bump it up a bit. Awkward first kiss. So, hey, my first date was with someone I literally didn't know. You think I'd learn my lesson and try to get to know somebody before I accept the date invitation, right? Well, compared to the same group of people. Also, this was my second date ever. Just putting that fact out there. During my freshman year in college, this person invited me to go on a date, and yeah, I didn't know them either. I learned my lesson now, okay? We meet up and decide to eat at a restaurant, and hey, thanks for trying this last thing has been very similar to my first date. Exposition time. My college has a mountain near it called a mountain, and people like to hike it. But it's really not even a hike, more like walking up at a mild angle. So we wind up walking up a mountain and sitting on a rock platform at the top, and we continue texting at a normal conversation. At one point, they put their arm around me. Come to think of it, all these stories are kind of coming full circle, and I never realized, and I'm kind of freaking out. And I kind of start just panicking to myself, okay, you really keep going, but I don't know if I want to end up kissing them. Like, I literally know nothing about this person. Again, I haven't kissed anyone yet. What is even happening right now? And all of a sudden, they grab my face and turn it towards them, and I'm like, I'm saying what's about to happen, but crap, I don't know if I want to kiss them yet. I ran out of time. So anyone who just happens to take a date up to the top of a mountain and sit on the platform thing, you'll be sitting in the same spot I accidentally got kissed by someone. And if you're there, take a picture and tweet it at me. I'd say preferably if you guys sit there, but it's kind of weird. This last story isn't really about flirting or dates, but I think it's kind of funny. I was hanging out with an ex-friend, and we were walking along our college's main strip. It's a street called Mill, and it's got a bunch of stores and restaurants along it. And just because I like how all these stories are kind of connecting, the restaurant First Kiss that I went to was on the strip too. We sat down at a bench outside a shop, and these two passerbys go, relationship goals, as they walk into the shop. We kind of looked at each other and laughed, and just kept talking. Then a few minutes later, the same people left the store and walked by us again, and were like, so towels, and that was the first time I was like, wow, I am such a freaking adult. I really appreciate the childhood my parents were able to give me. I'm really privileged to have grown up in a functional house where my parents didn't want me to die. I made a parent stories video a little over a year ago, and I rewatched it to make sure I didn't repeat any topics. And all I'm gonna say is those stories and animation are not worth 10 million views. That video, I don't like it. I don't like that video. My parents were really, really big on manners and being polite. We've got some Asian blood in us, so we can't bring dishonor to our family. We do all the difficult things like call adults Mr. and Mrs., ask to be excused for dinner, make sure to thank everyone for everything ever, bow to our superiors. When my mom had new people come over to the house, she would make me introduce myself and shake their hands, and then when no one was looking, she'd pull me aside to a different room and quiz me. No color out of their eyes. That was my mom's training course to get me to be good at eye contact, because I guess I used to be stupid and not look at people when they talk. But I remember that kind of backfired because I'd be so focused on memorizing their eyes that I wouldn't pay attention to what they were saying. Hi, Jaden, how are you? Alright, loser, I've got a clue. Now that I've got 20 years of aced eye quizzes under my belt, I'm an eye contact wizard. I graduated top of my class in eye contact. I've got eye contact master's degrees. Well, every once in a while, some people make me nervous, and I get shy. But other than that, I'm an eye contact powerhouse. I realized more recently that I think sometimes I go overboard and just end up staring at people by accident, and it's very weird, and I'm sorry at everyone. My mom would also be really strict on me saying pardon all the time instead of what. Like, she would say something I didn't hear, and I'd go, what? And she'd stick her head around with, pardon? I wouldn't be a bimbo and be all, what? It's not like I was being a rude moron. One time, my friend told me, Jaden, I think you're the only person I know that says pardon. And like, that's all fine and dandy. I could respect my mom's request to use an underused polite word. But I can't. Because she's even worse. This is what she does. Mom, did you put my book somewhere? Huh? Objectively speaking, oh, what is exponentially better than a huh? I started mocking her whenever she did it, and then she gradually stopped bothering me about saying pardon. Also, I realized I never told you that I had a lisp as a kid. My parents meme on me about it all the time, and a running joke in the family came from when I used to be babysat by my mom's friend. Italian, which means she's talking like it is, and have her house full of spaghetti, and oh, mamma mia. I'm half joking. Very Italian. Yahoo! She made pasta for me all the time, and whenever she would ask what I wanted for lunch, I would pathetically go, pasta with no sauce. I wanted pasta with no sauce. And now, if my family would be having pasta for dinner, someone would end up going, I don't have a list anymore. Sometimes it shines through when I talk too fast or get sloppy with my words, but somehow I fixed it by myself. In first grade, we were learning about letter pronunciation, and when we got to S, the teacher explained that some kids say S with their tongue, when it's actually supposed to be behind your teeth. And I was like, so I stopped doing it. Here, who knew that if you've got a speech impediment or some sort of hindrance or obstruction in your life, just stop it. Simple. You've got cancer. No, it's okay. Stop. When I was learning how to swim, my mom and her friend, who also had a daughter my age, hired a swim instructor for us. And I don't remember a single thing about it except that she made us hang off the edge of the pool and just shimmy across the side. But I was terrified of these filters against the side and always refused to go across them because I was scared of being sucked into something. I don't know how I passed that class because I refused to do the exercise. But at least I knew her eyes were blue. And then at the end of each lesson, she'd give us a piece of licorice, like we were dogs. I didn't like licorice. Oh yeah, and also this one time I almost drowned and died. So my parents were having a bunch of their friends over who also had kids for a pool party. There were a handful of pool toys like blow-up dolphins and beach balls, but we also had this floating foam mat. I was goofing off doing my own thing, and at one point when I was underwater, the mat drifted over top of me. When I had to go up for air, I hit the bottom of the mat, and I was like, uh-oh. Time for advanced critical problem solving. This mat is over top of me. I can't get up to the surface to breathe. So what do? I got it. I'll simply become a child Hercules and lift 3 6-year-olds from underwater into the air with my twig arm. Rather than using one of my 4 skills to swim being like, well, survival of the fittest. He dove in and he saved me. So I didn't end up drowning of stupidity. Thank you, Mr. Chad. And now I'm here, on my own, moved to California, in my own place, not dead at the bottom of the pool, staring at everyone. Being honest, I love my family so much, and they've done so much for me. It takes a lot of effort to raise a person. Just think about how helpless and stupid babies are when they start out. They can't do anything. You can just put a baby on the ground and do nothing. Just leave it alone. And it'll just... pathetic. I'm so thankful and lucky my family's so supportive about everything I've been able to do, because I know not a lot of parents are like that. They even helped me sell merch at VidCon. They were so happy about it too. They came up to me after every day like, oh my gosh, Jane, everyone's so wonderful. The people who watch your videos are so sweet. Someone asked me to sign a shirt for this this month. I was really nervous to pursue this career path because we have this other festival, but the fact that they're so proud and encouraging has helped me do so much more than I ever would have thought I could if I was alone. So thanks. Round. So I just got back from VidCon Australia, and I wanted to say that was amazing. I've never been upside down before. I've done a few panels with some friends like James and Jazza and Mon. We got to meet a bunch of really amazing, nice people. These days, we found smarter ways to do things. Find a smarter way to learn with WestPass from Capella University. You might even earn your master's degree in 12 months for under $11,500. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter. Hey, stop doing your homework. Stop watching TV. Stop looking at your phone. Oh, you're watching the video? Listen, the people who James was working with to do his plushies contacted me saying like, hey, I watched your videos. You're kind of cool. You want to make a plush? I was like, dude, free gas. Yeah, so, hey, it's fun. Look at it. Oh my god. I have the prototype right here. It is a prototype though, so it's not going to be exactly like it's not going to be black. It's going to be brown like in the videos. And the lady who made it accidentally drew on it with Sharpie here, so that little black isn't going to be there. She sent the cutest message apologizing about it in broken English because she was really trying to breathe. And it reminded me of the stocking, but I gave up that. If you order a plush before the 12th of December, it'll come with a signed card by me too. So that's exciting. We're also on sale right now until December 5th. Actually, everything in the shop is on sale until December 5th. What? Yeah. It's like a grand opening Black Friday over Cyber Monday, Happy Holidays, Blue Jean stuff sale. I'm working with people to get more stuff out, like beanie hats and buttons and bracelets. So those are going to be a thing sometime in the future too. One thing to note, the plushies are on pre-order, so they won't ship until February. But that's just because we need to know how many people want one and how many cards I need to sign. And yeah, but everything else ships normally, even if you buy a plush with it. Pop quiz, get out your pencil and paper, have you been paying attention? Question 1. Everything in the shop is on sale until December 5th. Question 2. Jane plushies come with a signed card if you order one before December 12th. Question 3. Jane plushies are on pre-order right now, so you won't get them until February. Question 4. Even if you buy a shirt with a plush, the shirt will come at the normal time while the plush will be pre-ordered and come later. Question 5. Alright, hey, alright, I'm done turning paper. Looks like you got them all right. We got to put the date in the corner, but I won't mark points up. So that's exciting. I hope you guys enjoy the new stuff. I'll have a link to the shop in the description and in the cards of the video if anyone even pays attention to those. And if everything goes well, there might be a plush of another friendo you guys love in the works as well. know the names and symbolisms in To Kill a Mockingbird. And oh god, was I supposed to read up to chapter 70 by Thursday or through it? I used to love reading. I still have the strong memory of going to my elementary school's library and being excited to check out the next Geronimo Stilton book because I loved the pictures and fun text they had. They always wrote the word cheese like this. And being able to read books that had more than 10 words on the page was impressive to a 6-year-old. Whenever I found a book I liked growing up, I would read it nonstop. I was able to crush a 300-pager in 2 days, which I don't think is considered impressive anymore, but it was in 5th grade, and look, that was the only self-worth I had, alright? But when school started making me read books by force, it kind of took the fun away from me. I don't like being told what to do with my free time, especially if you're gonna make me read a book written in the 1940s that I need clip notes to decode just to realize that all the animals were communists. Also, 20% of my grade. I get it though. What else are we gonna do in English class? We can all understand each other, right? We're speaking English. That's gotta count for something, right? But the more I had to read really cryptic books in my spare time where the symbolism is in the color of the main character's curtains, and I'm not even observant enough to realize they had curtains, but I mean, not really having fun. And also feeling like an idiot. I like my subtlety like I like my coffee. Flash in my face. How am I supposed to know what the A stands for adultery? I don't know. It could mean a woman, for all I know. Asparagus. But all that isn't anything new. Everyone complains about English assignments. Everyone hates reading the Scarlet Letter. Everyone thinks school should die. However, something that also locked in my disdain for reading was my mom. Hi, Mom. Of course, as a parent, you don't want your child to do nothing but play video games all day. That obviously leads to undeniable life failure. So what's the solution? Make them read more. And on paper, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Honestly, I'll probably use that when applicable. I think my mom made the obvious good parenting decision. But as the victim here, I believe I fell in the small minority where it had the overall opposite effect. During summer vacation, my mom would always tell me that I needed to read at least 2 books so I don't forget how to read. Whenever my mom would walk in on my brother and I playing Mario Kart together in the living room, she would ask if we'd read yet today, which we would respond no, because reading for chumps, and then she'd lock us in our room to be chumps. I started hating reading so much, I would rather do literally nothing than read a book. There were a couple summers where I faked reading entire books because I just didn't want to read that much. There was this one about dragons, I think, called The Secret Country, and I still remember that just looking at the cover would put me in a bad mood because of hatred association. Screw your secret country. When I was being forced to read, I would sit angrily on my bed, open the book, move the bookmark a reasonable amount forward to make it look like I read, and then just sit there for 30 minutes staring at it. It was boring, and I don't know what was wrong with me. I could have had at least a decent time if I just tried to read the dang book, but I guess it turned into a dignity thing. Actually, the ironic part is maybe a year or so later I decided to restart the same book and give it another shot on my own terms, and I finished it in 2 days. It was pretty good. I did it again with another book called Molly Moon and the Morphing Mystery. It's like the 5th book in this Molly Moon series. It's been a while, so I don't really remember the story, but it's about this orphan who can hypnotize people and have them hug. Anyway, it's funky because I actually read the first few books of the series on my own and remember really liking them. I would read them any chance I got, but as soon as I was forced to read this one, I just decided I'd rather literally waste my time and sit alone rebelling against reasonable parenting. But this time I never went back to read it. I think that might have been the point of no return for me. I think the association of reading as a necessity or some sort of punishment has deep-rooted itself in me, and now I just feel like reading isn't fun or I'm in trouble for something even though I live alone. I've tried listening to audiobooks, but honestly, they make me feel really lonely. I don't know why. It might be the lack of visuals. I like pictures. No one else is around. It's the same with music. I've never been a big music person, so whenever I try to sit down and do something while listening to music, it somehow enhances this feeling of being alone and like time is going by slower, which makes me uncomfortable. So I always have either YouTube videos